Good morning, YouTube. It's Arwen of Tarot by Arwen here with another review. This one is of an independently published deck, and I'm doing it in response to a video by Chaotic This and That. I believe that's the name of his channel, and I'll link it for you. He mentioned on his video that he loves the Wild Unknown and that he'd been watching some of my reviews and couldn't remember if I'd done a review or if I said I was going to do a review. I said I was. So I decided to go ahead and get that done. This is kind of my review basket right here. So you can see that it's full. There's all sorts of stuff. There's a few down here of decks I need to review. So, and if you have a request, please let me know. I know some of y'all requested decks. I'm still looking for the Wildwood and the Greenwood together so that I can do a comparison, because that's the only one I can really remember. And the Alice. I think somebody wanted the Alice. But this is the Wild Unknown Tarot. It's by Krans, and it's got a great box. One thing I really like about the box is that there's a quote on the inside. Welcome to the Wild Unknown Tarot. You'll find no wrongs or rights inside this box, only mirrors for reflection. Open your mind, draw a card, and have fun on your journey. It's a lovely message. It does have a lift out for the cards. My lift out is actually, came unglued, so I have to re-glue it in. I just haven't done it yet. The backs of the cards, completely reversible, guys. And kind of, you're getting sleepy. Okay, sorry. It's a very stark deck for some people. When I first saw this deck, I'm going to be very honest with you. I first saw about it and heard about it from, I think James Wells was one of the first people I heard about it from. And I took a look at it online, and I love black and white decks. This one didn't attract me. I don't know what it was about it. I was just a little put off by it. And I eventually saw more images, and I'm going to show you the image that hooked me. And I ordered one. I got it. I read with it. I read with it in party and gig or professional settings. I got another one in case this one got hurt. And then I think I have 3. I have to check. They just came out. Kim just posted yesterday, in fact, on the November 11th, that she is releasing a second edition. She's tweaked some cards. She's done a few changes, made it a little different, so it will be different from the first edition. Will Arwen get a second edition? We'll have to see. Right now, my funds are going towards other things, so we'll have to see on the tarot decks. Now let's take a look at this really fascinating deck. Remember that I said it's very black and white. The colors are used very sparingly. When they are, they really kind of pop at you. The Fool. A little bird fixing to launch. And as we all know, that little bird's not quite ready to launch. Taking that step off, going for it, eyes straight ahead, taking a risk. Nice representation of the Fool. And remember, if you find a baby bird on the ground, don't pick it up. You know, you can don't mess with it. Parents actually feed their babies while they're on the ground certain types. So research the bird before you go rescuing it. PSA. Now, the next one is the High Priestess. The High Priestess at first gave me a little issue. And then I realized what I was missing, the black and white towers, are actually in the black and white of the tiger. So she is the towers. The crystal ball is the knowledge we seek. It's the unknown. So like I said, sometimes I have to work with my base knowledge of a card and work around what the new artist image is. Because sometimes they don't work for me, and I have to either say, okay, this doesn't work. I just have to understand that's what that is, or put the deck aside. This deck I was able to work with. Now, I really like the Lovers. And I like the Lovers because they're the two Canadian geese flying. They're flying in the same direction. Their goals are the same. I see this as the universal watcher that we often see in the Lovers. So, good thing. Sorry, Kisa has come into play, which means she'll be over here in a bit, I'm sure. But the Lovers works for me in terms of the spiritual partnership, and I like that they're in the air and moving. That's a nice touch for me with Lovers. The Hermit made me giggle. There's this lamp, and there's the Hermit. So, lots of fun with that Hermit. You know, it reminds me of when we go into our shell and then we're just ready to peek out. So, is anybody ready? Is anybody waiting? Is anybody watching? Who's here? That kind of guidance, you know. Have you ever sat and watched a turtle and just waited for it to come out? I have, and it's an interesting task and patience. Now, the card that got me, the card that made me go, oh, I do need this deck, is the Wheel of Fortune. Part of it was the owl. I'm very fond of owls. But most of it was the cord magic going on. There's a lot of cord magic that we don't think about. And one of the ones that I love, it's an old tradition. I've never done it. But you take charms and tie them to ribbons and place them under a wedding cake. And then people take a charm, and what they get tells them their luck for the year. And I think it's a Victorian custom, but I've been in covens where we have used cord to wrap ourselves, and then we wrap our coven mate, and then we weave the web between us by tossing a ball of yarn back and forth. And it's fun, it's sacred, it's connecting, and there's a lot of laughter and love when we do it that way. Particularly when somebody misses the yarn, because you can't just turn around and get it. You've got to take everybody with you. So when a mistake is made, the community has to move to help you. Get the symbology? I thought you might. So that's what I really loved about that. And then I saw the Hanged Man. And y'all know I've been talking how mad I am for bats. So, perfect hangman. He's wrapped up. His eyes are glowing red, and I think that's for knowledge. That's for what he's seeing in the infrared, what he's getting incoming. So, because the hangman is about that sacrifice for knowledge that we sometimes have to make. It's, for me, symbolic of Jesus on the cross, Odin on the tree, are two of the main mythological characters that I think about. Time out. I call all religions mythos because I use the word in a more traditional sense rather than myth not being real. So, there you go. Death. Yeah. Not much to say about that death, is there? It's just really what it is. Crow or raven. There's, I don't know if you saw the feathers and the non-feathers, but it's a really nice death for me. It talks about, it's a transformation. You know, when we go from flesh to bone, that's a big transformation. And it's not one any of us are going to be able to avoid. So we have to remember that kind of transformation. It can be hard. It can be painful. All transformation can. So just keep doing it. Now we go to my other favorite card in the deck, and that's the Star. And it's a card I like, and actually I didn't like this star at first. Part of it was I didn't have my person interacting with a star. But in this, I kind of see us looking up to the stars and seeing that one brilliant, bright one that stands out to us and makes us think and makes us wish upon a star. Put our goals out there. And next we get the World. That's the last of the major arcana. And for me, this major arcana is a nod to Ouroboros, or Ouroboros. Oh, to hell with it, the snake that surrounds the world. And, you know, we're missing the four corners, but we've got that entryway. We've got that go through, that big bright spot in the middle. And for me, that's where the Fool steps into the World's position and the World steps down to become the Fool. But that's the cycle for me of the Fool. Let's talk about our aces. I have the Ace of Swords. And that beautiful rainbow snake. The lightning coming down. That's lots of potential. It's lots of energy. It's lots of what's next kind of thought stuff. So, swords for me are thought. They're air. Here's a gorgeous Ace of Wands. Use of color there is really nice. The bright white of the hottest fire going out to the orange to the red. It's a really good, and I'm not sure what the plant is. It might be pussy willow. Or dogwood. Looks like dogwood flowers, actually. I don't know, and I can't find the book to read. She does have a great guidebook that I do suggest getting. She sells the deck separately, and you can get the guidebook in addition. So I think it's a good combination. The Ace of Cups. The use of color and pattern here for fish scales in the background is nice. I love that the yellow and orange seem to be coming down into the cup, or are they coming up out of the cup? Again, potential, what can fill the cup, what can the cup give? The Ace of Pentacles. That center is really nice. You can almost see a pentagram in there. You know, not quite finished. Potential to grow. The growth rings on the tree. Lots of good things here. Now, I pulled out the fours to look at. We've looked at twos, we've looked at threes, we've looked at nines, I think. And I just pull out whatever really appeals to me. So, here we go with the Four of Swords, which is our card of rest. And that little calf there with the swords over, it's a little scary, kind of, but the calf is resting, the calf is taking its time, it's being peaceful. So that's a nice output of the Four of Swords. The Four of Wands. Now look at the sides here. The sides here and that opening, that's the back of the card with the fours there. And I love that they form a sacred eye with that blue in there. This is about stability. It's about support. And a lot of people see it as passages and life passages like weddings and births and engagements. The Four of Cups. The rat on the Four Cups. Now, the Four of Cups can be about depression. It can be about a rat in our thoughts. Sorry to you rat lovers. But it can be about something in our thoughts just worrying us and making us over-focus on our emotional self when we don't need to. The Four of Pentacles. Now, the Four of Pentacles is often the card of the miser. And what I like about this is how all these pentacles are attached to each other with like rubber bands or whatever. You can't move one without affecting the other. So it's kind of a reminder to look at your money and see how your money's affecting you. How attached are you to your money, people? That kind of question. Now we're going to look at swords for, wands for our courts. And the wand cards are represented by snakes, so you're going to see a lot of snakes. I couldn't remember if daughter or son were which position, so I just chose son as page because that's what it feels like to me. Sun rising up. Climbing that wand. Look at that burst of energy up there. It's all about youthful vigor and action, and the Page of Wands is a, you know, a herald, a runner, a go-getter. The daughter. A beautiful, what looks like a corn snake, or, well, maybe not. I think that's kind of what they're aiming for. But I love the burst of flowers here. And the infinity symbol. The infinity symbol here. You know, this is the knight, the daughter, the Knight of Wands. It's action, it's movement. Wands are about locomotion and movement. They can be cars because of the fire energy. But her energy is going. The Mother of Wands. Protecting her eggs, nurturing her youth, taking care of her family. It's a beautiful snake here. Not quite a viper though from the head. That's kind of what I was looking at. And then our King Cobra is our King of Wands. And Lisa Hunt and I use a cobra for our serpent from the Rikki Tikki Tavi tale. But look at that energy bolt, that lightning bolt coming down. He's a man of action. He's a man ready to strike. The Wild Unknown is definitely a deck that can be read by anybody. I think you have to suspend some of your "that's not tarot" ideas. This is a very natural-oriented deck. There are no, I don't believe there are any humans in this deck. It's animal and flora and fauna. I recommend it. I think it's a deck that if you want to learn a different deck, it's a great one. And something fun to do is compare it. Take a Rider-Waite, take the deck you're most familiar with, and look at them together. See what's similar, see what's not similar. But definitely check out the Wild Unknown Tarot, and I'll put a link so that you can go look at it. I'm Arwen of Tarot by Arwen. I really thank you for joining me for my reviews and for my witchy talks and all the other stuff that I do, and tarot scopes. And have a great, great day, y'all. Seek joy. We'll talk later.